Justine. I'm a friend of Katie's, and I also work for Katie.
Thank you. Christine?
I'm Christine, and I am a friend of Katie's, and I work for Katie on occasion as well.
I am Sarah, and I'm a friend of Katie's, and I work for Katie.
And I'm Daniel. I'm with Kate all the time. She's good friends.
You've known Katie a long time, and?
You're good friends?
Yeah.
And you're good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Jansen, and I know a lot about Katie through her friends and support, but this is my first time meeting her face to face.
When you start, you just had the first 4 questions posted. So let me review those 4 questions. The first question is, what do we know about what's important to Katie? Things that are important to Katie are things that she enjoys, things that make her happy, things that make her fulfilled, satisfied, content. Then we want to ask, what do people like and admire about Katie? And this is where you have to make sure you've invited the right people, because you need people who can answer these questions. And this will tell you whether you invited the right people, because if they can't come up with a pretty big list of what they like and admire about Katie, you got the wrong people in the room. Then we want to know, how is Katie smart? What is she good at? And sometimes people confuse an IQ score with smart. But IQ scores don't have anything to do with how Katie is smart. Katie's probably smart in a whole bunch of ways, and we're going to ask you to describe them. What is she good at? How is she? How do you think of Katie as being clever, as being able to accomplish things? How is she smart? The last one, those people who filled out what they like and admire, this is the hardest question. When you think about how Katie's contributed to your life, how has Katie made a difference in your life, what can you say? So this requires that you really think about it. You really kind of step back and think about it. Once you've reviewed the questions, and once you make sure that anybody who has any questions has an opportunity to answer them, it's simply a matter of making sure that everybody has a marker and they get up and write. Flip chart page says, what do we know about what is important to Katie? What does Katie enjoy doing? And people wrote family, independence, cooking, doing things for herself, helping others, independence, having people around her that support her, teaching others, crafts, holidays, handbags, contributing to others in her family and community, doing things for herself, makeup, and staying organized. Those are all correct, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? And what kind of crafts are important to you?
Making things for my mother's grave.
Making what?
Things for her mother's grave.
Making things for your mother's grave?
Yeah.
So remembering your mother is something else that's really important to you. And it says here your independence and doing things for yourself is really important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah? And it's important to you to stay organized.
Yeah.
Does that mean that other people need to help you stay organized, or you help organize other people?
do a little bit of both.
You do a little bit of both? Okay. So let's move. Anything else that when people look at this, that any of you that you want to comment on? So we're going to move to what people like and admire about you, Katie?
Yeah.
And what they said here is that you're nice to other people, you're open-hearted, you're loving, you never give up, you have a say yes attitude, which goes with your can-do attitude, and you're motivated. You're also determined to get it done. You are known for your hospitality and your willingness to help others. You have a positive outlook and a sharp sense of humor. What's a sharp sense of humor?
Katie will shock you at times.
Katie will shock you.
She will.
Yeah? And you've developed a really big circle. There's a lot of people who know you, and a lot of people that you can ask who can count on you. And I understand that there would have been a lot more people here if we'd given you a little more notice.
Yes.
Yeah.
One more up there in the corner.
And you never give up. Then, how are you smart? What are you good at? Making other people laugh and smile. Remembering where everything is. Encouraging people, being a good hostess, great memory of family history and good times. Cooking, and I asked you about cooking, you said you cook most anything. But somebody said you made great banana bread. And you're a good friend. You're very organized, have an incredible memory, and you know who to call to get things done. Is that all correct? Yeah? Then the last one over here is, what have those people who like and admire you learned from you? How have you contributed to their lives? How have you made a difference in their lives? And part of what people wrote, the lessons that they've gotten, is they've learned to be more open and appreciate the little things. And that you apparently are very forgiving, because people have learned forgiveness from you and not holding a grudge. But they've also learned if there's a will, there's a way, because you are such a determined person. And people who are shy are saying, you've helped them come out of their shell. And you've helped people get organized. Oh, maybe you should come to my house. And you're inspiring, and you have lots of community friends, and people have learned how you can have lots of friends and connections. Is that also? Yeah. Okay. So what we've done here is to get people's brains ready to do this part, because what you want to do here is get people to brainstorm answers to this question. Given what we've learned, given what's been recorded, where might Katie's gifts and contributions be appreciated? What we're concerned about here is to get people past the typical limitations of how they think, and to really reflect on all of these things that everybody wrote with no problem, and say, how would these give us suggestions about where Katie's gifts and contributions might be appreciated. At this moment, we don't care whether it's a job or an activity. It's just something where Katie's gifts would be appreciated.
Counselor.
Stand-up comedian.
Constituent services.
Catering.
Oh, and we're going to put more paper up. Sure.
Clerical. Office administration.
You said medical though.
Nurse.
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 Yeah, she likes medical stuff. Come on.
Helping families with kids with cerebral palsy understand
Helping people with cerebral palsy understand
what it is.
what it is. So, advocate or
Yeah, cerebral palsy advocate. Any kind of advocate. I mean, maybe that's the same thing you're saying with diabetes. And a dialysis
Or educator.
worker, nurse, is that?
Dialysis nurse.
Yeah.
So, and you could be a kind of a diversity educator.
Yeah.
Going to schools and training about
Mhm.
diversity and cerebral palsy if you aren't.
Urology nurse.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Urology nurse.
A
Urology?
nurse.
Okay.
About involvement in family planning.
Family planning counselor.
Or sort of a social worker too, even.
How to train your staff appropriately.
So I think we have enough for the moment. But anytime anybody thinks of one, we can always add it. And Katie, if you think of anything else, we can also add it. But here's the next piece of your work. This is where you start to really come in. Because I'm going to take a blue marker, Katie, and I'm going to go through each one of these. And if you think it's a good idea, we're going to give it a blue check. Then we're going to go back through all the blue checks, and if you think it's a great idea, we're going to give it a red check on top of the blue check. Okay?
Yeah.
Catering.
Yeah.
Grief counselor.
Yeah.
A teacher.
Yeah.
Welcome wagon volunteer.
No.
Write a cookbook.
Yeah.
Resource coordinator.
Yes.
An event planner.
Yeah.
A facilitator.
Yes.
And train the trainer.
Yes.
So, we now have an embarrassment of riches. We have so many ideas that you think are good ideas, and other people probably think are good ideas, that we have to kind of figure out how we're going to narrow it down. How are we going to decide which ones we should then look at with some of the other questions that we're going to be asking. So we're going to be looking at how good an opportunity is it for to use your gifts and contributions? How doable is it? And how easy do you think it would be? So we're going to be asking questions that, and there's some things like if you wanted to be a urology nurse, and that's something you think is really important, then one of the questions we would be looking at is that takes a fair amount of training and education. So we'd have to be going, okay, that might be a longer range goal, and we would then need to explore how you got that education, how you got that training. I assume you don't have a nursing degree now?
No.
No? So we would have to look at that. So there's some things that might take some time, some things that people could start on right away. But I've got a really hard question for you now. You ready?
Yeah.
If we were to just look at 5 of these, what 5 would you pick? Do you see why we have to narrow them down?
Yeah.
Because we want people to do some work on them. And unless we narrow it down, there's too many things up there.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to figure out how we want to narrow them down. So, have you seen ones that you want to have red checks already? Or do you want me to go through them one at a time and you tell me?
Diabetes.
Read them again? You said
Diabetes.
Okay, you want this one?
Yeah.
You have a red check.
Selling the gift basket.
Selling gift baskets.
First page. It's on the first page.
Right here. Do you want me to read them again?
The cerebral palsy consultant.
The cerebral palsy CP advocate and educator.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Okay, good.
We're good?
We're good.
So, as you can see, with somebody who gets this as well as Katie, this is actually pretty easy. With other people, you really have to take some time, and there's some people I've done this with who don't communicate directly, where you have to really have kind of the group with the person. So you're looking at somebody's face, you're trying to figure it out, you get an input from other people. You know, with Katie, it's just a pleasure because Katie knows her own mind. So even though I put up some brilliant ideas, Katie didn't agree with them. But that's the way we want it to work. We want people to come up with their best ideas, and we want the person to tell us which ones we should pursue. We're going to be putting up a checklist for the rest of these questions, and we're going to ask people to score it 1 to 5. Lots of people, I think Katie, I think you probably would have no trouble giving these a ranking of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on how much you liked them. But most of the people that we do this with have trouble with that kind of number score, but nobody has trouble with the blue check, red check, which really is 4s and 5s. So we have an idea of which ideas that Katie thinks we should focus on, and they are selling gift baskets, being an advocate educator for people with cerebral palsy, being a urology nurse, a diabetes consultant, educator. Katie, are those?
Yeah.
That's the 4. Now we're going to ask questions, and everybody in the room is going to talk about them, and we're going to come to some consensus. So we're going to talk a little bit about what each job means, and in the process of talking about the job, we might come up with something else. So you never want to stop thinking. So if we come up with, if we start thinking about this, CP advocate, diabetes consultant, while you were out of the room, Christine was already plotting, and she was saying that, you know, if you think about it, Katie's just a good trainer. So maybe we should be thinking trainer in a more global way, bigger way, many different kinds of possible roles. That's the kind of conversation that you want to have, because then you say, you know, then we go back to you and you go, yes or no, we should explore that more, we should talk about that more. And if you say yes, we should talk about it more, then we might wind up with more things listed here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, question?
Yeah.
So let's start here with selling gift baskets. Anybody have some ideas about what that would be like?
Well, Katie, you know because you've already done it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? And one of the things that struck me about this, Katie, is that people in business, you know, during the holidays or special occasions, will put together or buy a gift basket. They don't put them together. They buy gift baskets to give to their clients. So the people that do the accounting work for my organization will once a year send us a gift basket. And somebody like yourself could be putting those gift baskets together and then getting businesses to put them out. That's what was in my head. I don't know what was in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah? Something like that?
Yeah.
So how good an opportunity do the rest of us, including Katie, think that that would be for Katie to be able to use her gifts? A really great opportunity? Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah?
She has the supplies too. Like she has a bunch of leftover supplies from years ago when she did it before.
So she even has materials.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 5?
That's fun.
5 would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And how easy would it be to do to get it started?
Well, you already have the supplies.
What do you have to do? Maybe just
Networking.
creating a website to network and stuff.
Marketing,
Marketing. So
get the word out.
it's a 5 there, and would Katie's baskets be welcome, do you think?
Absolutely.
So that's a 5. So how good an opportunity is it for you to use your gifts?
3.
A 3?
Yeah.
And how doable is it?
3.
3? And how easy would it be for you to be welcomed?
5.
5?
Yeah.
So, and here's where I want to come back and revisit this for a minute, because I'm thinking, if you think about some of the day services around here, or the agencies that provide services, they have people who come, like nurses, who come and do diabetes education for the people who have diabetes, who go to that service, whether it's the day service or the residential. And I wonder if you couldn't co-teach with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look for the stuff right now that we should be looking at planning for,
It's a gift basket for
these are the ones, because you're looking for where there are 5s all the way across or 4s and 5s all the way across. If there aren't 4s and 5s, then if it's something you really want to do, then we need to still dig into it, still look for it, look at how we can do it as a long-range goal. But this is the stuff you work on right away.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that this CP Advocate is similar
Yeah.
to this, that you could, if we found somebody who was doing diversity education and said, I could go along, the challenge for the co-teaching piece is getting paid. Because I bet it would be pretty easy to find somebody who would be welcoming you as a volunteer. And maybe you'd have to do that first. Would you be okay with doing volunteer work first?
Yeah.
Yeah? And that's something we always have to check on, because if you're doing valuable things, then we need to look at how you can get paid for it. So Katie, each session, each time you do this, you want to end with some action planning. Otherwise, the danger is you're going to go this far and everybody's going to go, oh, wasn't that wonderful? And then 6 months from now, people are going to go, how come Katie doesn't have a job? So you really want to end with who's going to do what to take the next steps. And you may not have the people in the room necessary to really get a rich action plan, but you can get something started. And you can decide what is going to happen in order to make that occur. So what do the rest of you think about what would need to happen in order for gift baskets to be sold?
Advertising.
Advertising. Would that be the first thing?
I think you'd need to write a business plan. Not a big one, but maybe a small business plan, what you want to do.
Yeah.
So develop a business plan. And who's going to take the lead to do that or to help make sure it's done? So Justine, you've been voluntold.
Yep.
So we're going to have Justine is responsible. And by when? How long do you think that might take?
July.
Hmm?
July.
July.
July?
Yeah.
Boy, you're cutting her some slack.
For a plan? Just writing down what you want to accomplish and how you're going to do it.
2 weeks.
There you
Doesn't
go.
it sound like Dan's ready to help with that?
I know, I was thinking Dan should be the one to do the business plan. He's got the most business plan experience.
If I can do it remotely, yes. This is a long way. Or if you can meet me halfway, then yeah, let's get together and do it.
Meet in Towson.
Yeah, let's meet in
Okay.
Towson.
So we changed this to Dan. And how long?
July sounds good.
Give him a month. Give him a month, Katie.
I think a month would be fine.
So May 15th?
Sure.
So, and there's other stuff that you can do to try to look at this. You can begin to get a business plan together, but then you could go to the Chamber of Commerce. You can go find out who are there are retired business executives that are happy to help people with business plans. So you have to figure out packing and all of those things.
Yeah.
So who would be responsible for getting together the marketing plan with the idea of the website, the advertising, and then the logistics?
What about your circle, Katie? That's what I would think, is that would be a team effort amongst Katie's circle.
And who would, that sounds like maybe Sarah's name should be down.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, that's fine.
You suggested you sign up for it.
Sarah, part of what this is about is not that you would do it all, but who's responsible to make sure it's done? And what date?
July 1st.
July 1st.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
So is this something you want to pursue? To see if you could be a co-trainer?
I did, but not right now. That one looks like my best action for now. The gift basket.
So you want to focus on the gift
Yeah.
basket first?
Yeah.
And getting your GED?
Yeah.
sounds good.
So this would be something then that we kind of park again with the circle.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do then, Katie, is we're going to get, all of this is going to get typed up. and we'll make sure that it gets to you. And is it okay to share it with your circle?
Yeah.
And then the material that we generated earlier, this over here, can then become part of your resume.
Yeah.
We can keep all these ideas so that we can go back to them at some point and see if you know, as you try different things, if they change. And we're going to have people in your circle meetings really report on what they've been able to do about this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I would like to end by asking each person to say one thing they appreciated about our time together, or one thing that they learned from today. And Dan's going to record what you say until it's time for Dan to speak, in which case somebody else will have to record it. Who wants to start?
I'll start. I am Sarah, and I appreciate everyone's willingness to participate and be involved in helping Katie plan.
And Katie, how about you? What was one thing you learned today?
I definitely did not know all the awesome things that these people thought about me.
I was reminded how important it is to do trainings like this, because we all get so caught up in, oh, let's plan for this, but to stop, get the circle together, get people together from all walks of your life, and just sit down and brainstorm and plan. It's really beneficial.
One thing that this shows me is that you can just have a small group of people together if they really know and care about the person, and they can come up with an amazing list. It doesn't require 25 people, although it's more fun with 25 people and your brownies. And that's it.